What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and I hope you're all doing well today. I alluded to this in a recent video, but the Kyrian Rogue Legendary is finally able to be tested on the 9.1 PTR. So how does it work, and more importantly, is it actually worth using, or is it just a waste of soul ash? Well, hopefully this video will answer both those questions for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now let's take a look at the Kyrian Rogue Legendary, Resounding Clarity. So, for those of you who watched my Rogue Covenant Legendary video a month or so ago, you might remember that the Kyrian one wasn't available yet, despite being in the journal for legendary powers on the PTR. Well, as far as I can tell, up until this week, where they added this renown boosting item from a vendor, it still wasn't obtainable the entire time. But after weeks and weeks of waiting, here we are. Resounding Clarity will be earned at renown level 48 if you're Kyrian, which should be obtainable in the first 2 or 3 weeks at most of patch 9.1 if you're currently at renown 40 on live servers. For this legendary effect, Echoing Reprimand will now anima charge 4 of your combo points instead of just 1, meaning you get to use 4 of those empowered finishers for every time you hit Echoing Reprimand, which has a 45-second cooldown. From the testing I've done, it seems like it'll always anima charge combo points 2 through 5, even if you're running the Deeper Stratagem talent, which gives you a total of 6 combo points. This is still the same little combo point minigame of using finishers at the correct number of combo points, so functionality-wise, this will play exactly the same as Kyrian currently does. The only difference is that, as you'll see in my buff list, I have 4 different buffs rolling, each for the corresponding anima-charged combo point that I can use. So the real question is this legendary all that great? Well, in most normal content, no. It seems mediocre at best and below average at worst in dungeons, world content, and just slapping target dummies around for raw damage testing. However, there is one area where I think this legendary is actually pretty awesome and would be worth considering if you're already Kyrian: Torghast. There is one power in particular that makes this legendary very potent, and that's Ringing Doom. This makes it so that whenever you use an anima-charged finishing move, you will instantly reset the cooldown of Echoing Reprimand. Since Echoing Reprimand always generates a minimum of 2 combo points, and combo points 2 through 5 are always anima-charged, this means you can literally just hit Echoing Reprimand, and then a finisher, and then another Echoing Reprimand, and another finisher, back-to-back, non-stop. Echoing Reprimand is also a combo point generator, so the exceptionally potent Unceasing Chain Link power is a very large DPS gain for this move, and then combining that with powers like the Last Blade or First Steps means you'll be dumping hard-hitting finishers non-stop with a hard-hitting generator in between constantly. There is also the Reverberating Strike anima power, which is supposed to make your anima-charged finishers deal a metric ton of damage, the equivalent of 20 combo points worth, but on the PTR, this power is not doing anything of an increase in damage, so hopefully this gets fixed sooner rather than later. I can only imagine the amount of damage finishing moves would do if this power worked, because even now with a ton of powers, my dispatches can crit for almost 200k, which is pretty sweet, especially considering how literally every other GCD you use will be a finishing move due to the reset mechanic on Echoing Reprimand thanks to Ringing Doom. Admittedly, I was a little optimistic on Resounding Clarity being potentially a jack-of-all-trades choice, but I don't think it'll outperform the other strong generic options like Master Assassin, at least in its current state. Maybe if this legendary gets a bit of a buff to the damage dealt by the finishers, or if it caused a burst of AoE damage or something, then it might be a bit more desirable. There is the new Mechanicos trait, Effusive Anima Accelerator, which can potentially reduce the cooldown of Echoing Reprimand by up to 15 seconds if you're in an AoE situation, but even then it doesn't sound like enough to push this legendary into the top rung of choices, let alone enough to make every rogue ever go back to Kyrian or something like that, which is honestly not a very popular choice overall in PvE right now anyways. Unfortunately, this wasn't quite the big news that I was hoping it would be, but I'm glad I was able to at least share with you folks how Resounding Clarity works and the potential uses it might have. Honestly, if I were to say as of right now, it's definitely not worth switching to Kyrian just for this legendary or anything crazy like that, but if you're already a diehard Kyrian, then this might be something fun to meme around in with Torghast, because honestly, it did pretty good damage with some of the powers that had good synergy with it. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video and taking a look at some of the stuff on the 9.1 PTR. If you did, then feel free to check out some of my other videos as I cover a lot of 9.1 stuff, and if you like those or even this video, then feel free to leave a like or a comment as it's greatly appreciated and basically it helps YouTube recommend the channel to new people. And as always, my appreciation and gratitude to all of my viewers and especially my patrons, who all help make these Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.